Coming up tonight, we'll take a look at the recent esports news from Katowice. GameFi stops by to give us an LPL update, and we take a look at the upcoming Call of Duty World Championship. Find out more on today's Daily News. Hello and welcome from Studio One in Berlin, Germany. My name is Dan Cho. Tonight is March the 17th, and this day in esports history 1 year ago, the grand final of the MLG Pro Circuit Winter Championship took place in Dallas. It was the first MLG championship held of the 2013 season with a juicy $45,000 prize pool. So the Intel Extreme Masters World Championship in Katowice have come to an end. Let's recap, starting with League of Legends to announce you the results. The third and fourth place were shared by Cloud9 and Gambit, as Gambit lost to KT Bullets in the semifinals. Cloud9 ended up losing to Fnatic. The grand finals were a best-of-5 between KT Roster Bullets and Fnatic, and the first game started off with a beautiful first blood for SOAS and a nice lead in the early game. Unfortunately, Fnatic gave it away a Baron after a fight, and KTB took their first map. Second game was the opposite. KT Bullets took a lead, but Fnatic turned it around. But time was on KT Bullets' side as they began to outscale Fnatic's champions and quickly made it a 2-0. Insects Kha'Zix was banned in the third game, resulting in his legendary Lee Sin. Additionally, the Bullets ran AD carry and support in the middle to shred the lane. They were nearly unstoppable and took one objective after another, making it a clean 3-0 sweep in the end for the Bullets. And while their performance was amazing throughout the whole tournament, not a single loss were given that day. With Insect back in the jungle, they did the only right thing. He may have rusted a bit while playing on the top lane, but with each game playing in the jungle, he remembered everything to become the beast again he once was. KT Bullets showed that the struggles in the past have been forgotten and take home $60,000. Fnatic takes home $30,000 and proved the fact that they are still a top caliber team in spite of their recent LCS EU losing streak. Let's see whether they get back on the top. Gambit and Cloud9 are rewarded with $14,000 in third and fourth place. LOL Esports is your source for all major League of Legends events. Check out their recap of IEM to see what happened for yourself. StarCraft 2 time. This weekend we had a lot of surprises in the StarCraft 2 cosmos. Where to start? How about the fact that Naniwa, the European hope and the only non-Korean in the round of 16, forfeited his match after his first game against Polt. In Game 1, Naniwa's proxy gateway got stopped by Polt. Afterwards, Naniwa cited soundproofing booth issues and had a visible disagreement with an admin. He forfeited the entire series on the spot, leaving fans disappointed. No further developments as to the booth quality or the repercussions have been announced. IEM Katowice wasn't just about Naniwa, though, as we had Polt losing against Hero in the semifinals. Tasia, on the other hand, was defeated by SOS. Not a lot were surprised by the Protoss vs. Protoss finals. $100,000 was on the line, but it didn't stop both Protosses from cheesing their way in the finals. SOS took the first two games with a double proxy gateway play. And in Game 3, it wasn't SOS who poured cheese on his opponent, but CJ. He went for Dark Templars and SOS immediately surrendered. And to all of our surprise, Game 4 wasn't contaminated by cheese. Hero's Blink Stalker All-In didn't work out to his advantage. In the last game, Hero tried proxy-gating SOS to stay in the finals, but he failed. SOS took home the trophy and the $100,000 cash. Congratulations. There's also a small Hearthstone Invitational at IEM as well, featuring Artosis and Nims from Doggy House, as well as two qualifying spots that are won by Planet Key Dynamic players, Lothar and Sinex. The prize pool wasn't like the hundreds of thousands of dollars like the other games going on, but that doesn't mean the games weren't fun to watch. The first series was Artosis versus Lothar, and the BlizzCon champion took a quick 3-0 victory with his Control Warrior deck. Nims then played versus Sinex, the German teammate of Lothar, and was behind 2-1. Then somehow, Nims conjured up his RNG skills, pulling out a comeback win with Nat Pagel draws in an unlikely favorable brawl to advance to the grand finals versus his teammate. The hearth-breaking team kill final between Nimsh and Artosis finished with the Polish homeland hero winning it 3-1. But not only that, Nimsh also included unique cards in his decks, highlighted by the Elite Tauren Chieftain inclusion into his mage deck. Cynics finished in third after he won 3-0 over his warrior deck over his teammate Lothar. The crowd went crazy for every headshot they made, for every round they took, for everything they have done. Yes, the 2014 CSGO EMS 1 in Poland was a weekend to remember. And while many expected a team like Ninja's Pajamas to easily push to the final stage and fit that description, it was quite unexpected to see the Polish team Virtus Pro make such a grand statement to the world. Virtus Pro started with a phenomenal first 3 rounds on bomb site B on Mirage. They outplayed NIP easily. Down 1-4, NIP went for a risky off-buy that did not pay dividends. Unfortunately for them, Virtus Pro were able to win the second half pistol round as well and took home the first map with a 16-7 victory. Now we're going to see the second map, Inferno, with, again, super duper megastar for Virtus Pro. They dominated the map with a lead in 8-2 score. Once again, NIP were forced to save, putting them down 3-11. And the final round of the half gave them a glimmer of hope as an A bomb site hit won them the 4th round of the half. But the 4th round would not be enough for Ninjas in this first half. After some nice headshots, Virtus Pro only in a little lead with 12-9. But with this amazing crowd behind them, they took the next rounds and won 16-10, finishing out the series 2-0. The EMS1 Katowice champion is the Polish team Virtus Pro as they go home with $100,000. Tomorrow, news will be an IEM special where we have an in-depth recap of the weekend as well as talk to the winners of each event. Make sure to watch here on ESGNTV.com. It's time for a quick break. Coming up next, Game 5 gives us an in-depth analysis of last week's LPL. And we'll also take a look at Dota 2's Light of Hope package, as well as the upcoming Call of Duty World Championship we mentioned earlier. You won't want to miss this. The Daily News will be right back. Welcome back to the desk. Yesterday, we had the first instance of WCS America hosted by ESL. Nathanius cast alongside NA's favorite, Rotterdam, at the ESL studios in Cologne. Polt, Neeb, Illusion, and Minigun battled out for a spot in the round of 16 in WCS America.
Oh, I think Polt is going to go for it. Of course, at the same time, Illusion is coming in from the north side.
Yeah, he's spreading his Marines out pretty wide line. All the tanks for Illusion picked off, moving the rally down. That tank line of Polt chewing away so much at this, though, especially with that medevac count to keep these forces alive. The concave looks nice for Illusion, but there's just not enough. Polt maintaining a 30 supply lead. This third base for Illusion, he still has the economy, but now the Marines move in. He's forced to come in and fight, and that's where the siege tank cover becomes a huge problem.
It would have been so awesome for Illusion if only he had like 60 Marines coming in from the south side. I think that would have completely changed the tide of this battle. He's going to try to go in again after a few Marines were picked off. I still do not think that this is a fight he should take. Despite having superior upgrades, he just doesn't have the numbers anymore.
Trying to push this back. Still, army supply advantage for Neeb. He's not stopping. He's moving back towards that 4th base. The Zealots are going to run over these Widow Mines. 3 kills for Neeb. Dark Templar warped in defensively. This Nexus is so low. It looks like Neeb won't be able to get it just yet. He needs this snipe though if he wants to hold on to this lead.
Kill one of those Colossus there. There is still one observer above this army. You could really see that he tried to snipe it. The fighting has been going on for minutes. If Minigun stabilizes on these 4 bases in the mineral bank that he has, the observer does get picked off. There is another Colossus. Man, they spawn like Zealots these days, and it's still alive. I think did Minigun stabilize?
This might be one of the longest going fights I've seen in a Terror versus Protoss. He's just continuing to rally. None of these medevacs have any energy. Just spending it as soon as they get it. That one Viking, it looks like it will pick up one of these Colossi. There's still Widow Mines under this army. Neeb is not stopping. He's continuing to push in. Another Colossus will fall. And Minigun just warping in Zealots and Stalkers as he can. He still kept this 4th base alive, though. Look at the bank for Minigun. He can't spend his resources fast enough.
No, but I actually think that Neeb has has done it, at least for this fourth base. Did he win the game yet? I'm not sure about that. Do we have any storms? No, we do not. We do have feedbacks. Even SCVs making their way across the map, they're going to soak up a lot of damage. I think Neep has finally done it. Both players gave it their all. Not a single storm will go off because they didn't have the energy. What a battle, and Neep will win game 3 on Habitation Station. Now that
And there you have it. Pulled defeated Illusion 2-0, going on to top Neeb 2-1. Neeb then decided it was time to step up his game and emerge victorious against Protoss player Minigun 2-1, slapping Illusion in the face with the macro game. Following these games, Bold and Neeb qualified for the next stage. To check out the VODs, head over to twitch.tv/WCS_America. Today, the GSL Round of 16 Group C took place in the GOM TV studio, casted by Tasteless and Wolf, and in what could be referred to as the Korean Protoss group of death balls. We saw whom just may be the best PvP player in Korea. 4 Protoss in one group fighting for a spot in the round of 8. The first match between Classic and Squirtle commanded attention, with Classic winning 2-1. In the second match, 2 teammates from SK Telecom T1, Parting and Rain, had to face each other, with Rain taking the match with a solid 2-0. In the end, Rain and Parting go on to the round of 8, and their team member Classic is knocked out. But definitely check out the games, at least when Parting played Classic, as they were memorable PvPs to remember. Today we received a bit of crazy content from our partner GameFi. The footage captures a StarCraft 2 match that was played for 7 hours, 2 minutes, and 44 seconds. Check it out.
The first impression of most players on StarCraft 2 is, this game is a blitz. This sometimes causes a game to be over before we can even get it, and normally 30 minutes would be enough for a sick match. But recently, an almost lifelong StarLadder game stunned everyone by going for 7 hours, 2 minutes and 44 seconds in StarCraft 2 China server. The 2 opponents were Ein, the top player in Chinese server, and 10X, the Chinese #1 non-pro gamer. This game surely created a record in esports history, beating the 3 hours, 4 minutes game in WCS 2013 Europe. Both players said that they have already talked before gaming and prepared themselves for a prolonged battle. Terran player Ein went for mech play as well as turrets to tightly protect his base, while 10X transferred from host in early stage when he realized it was impossible to finish his opponent in a short amount of time. In 30 minutes, the map was already totally divided. In the following 6 hours, 10X took over Ein's Geyser bit by bit. Even in the hopeless situation when map was fully dominated by Zerg from 10X, Ein managed to make 10X confused with his ingenious use of Ravens and Vikings. The 2 gamers even started to chat during this game. 10X even mentioned that he doesn't care about the result, but both of them said this game would be memorable for them. It's extremely rare for such a long StarCraft 2 game, and it's really not easy to focus on the gaming for such a long time, because an unfocused mind could ruin the game in a second. But we wonder if they will be in the mood for an even longer game when those 2 meet again.
Thanks a lot, GameFi. That was certainly an interesting recap of what happened. No one expected it to be so early. Hearthstone is now live in all regions across the world. Head over to battle.net to download it now for free. If you're one of the few who did not take part in the beta stage, you've now officially missed your shot at grabbing the Golden Goblin Metator card that's exclusive to participants who bought at least 1 pack. Don't miss anything, and check the battle.net for more details on future promotions. Earlier this week, we got an interview with Brandon Adama Altman from Clarity Gaming to talk a little bit about what's going on with its Hearthstone division. I'm joined by Brandon Altman, the CEO of Clarity Gaming, who just recently announced that Razer will be sponsoring his team. Congratulations, Brandon.
Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate it.
Cool. So let's go ahead and introduce who you are for anybody who's not familiar with you or your team.
Well, I'm the Chief Executive Officer of Clarity Gaming. We're a multi-gaming organization that right now has a base in Hearthstone and StarCraft 2. And in addition, I'm also the Content Director of iHearthU.com.
So Brandon, talk to me a little bit about the Hearthstone team. First of all, let's back up and even ask, why is Clarity even interested in the Hearthstone team compared to some of the other games that are also picking up steam, like Dota 2, League of Legends, and others?
Well, I think that comes down to a couple different points. First of all, Clarity Gaming has been contemplating and debating whether or not to expand into Hearthstone for quite some time, as it's a game that literally our entire staff and roster play. At that point, teams weren't as prevalent, but the value in organized support and professional management is undoubtable in modern esports. I'm proud to say that in addition to my work with Clarity, I also work with iHearthU, which allowed me the incredible opportunity of working with some of the most motivated, passionate Hearthstone players in North America and around the world. Being a strong believer in Hearthstone's competitive future, especially based off of Blizzard's comments on the game, the choice to expand was simple.
So this doesn't mean you're ignoring the other division of Clarity, right? We're back to StarCraft 2, where people kind of are worried about the stability of the mid-tier teams that aren't necessarily in the spotlight compared to like Evil Geniuses or Team Liquid. So for your StarCraft 2 division, how much are you guys supporting it? Is it primarily going to shift towards the Hearthstone, or what's going on with that?
Well, realistically speaking, for any multi-gaming organization, the bottom line is financial stability. So while our process has never been to make big pickups consistently and constantly, it's much more important for us that we're relevant and solvent years down the line. So we have no intentions of closing down StarCraft 2, and in fact, we're going to be sending a number of players to the upcoming MLG Anaheim, as well as announce a couple new events for the community for StarCraft 2 as well. So we're definitely not ignoring StarCraft 2 or favoring Hearthstone. They're both a valuable part of our organization.
Give me a little bit of insight into where you think Hearthstone is currently going, because you kind of shared a little bit of it, and how does the Razer partnership really help you guys achieve those goals that you have in Hearthstone?
Well, first and foremost, our partnership with Razer is going to allow us to put on more expansive community tournaments, as well as more premier community tournaments for the top players in the game currently. Now, Razer has a lot of plans upcoming for Hearthstone, and they plan to be supporting the game quite a bit, especially in its infancy.
Thank you so much for taking a few minutes to give us insight about your team, and congratulations once again, Brandon, on your announcement. Before we let you go, any final shout outs and thank yous, maybe to Razer, before we let you go?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the sponsors of Clarity Gaming that allow us to do what we love day in and day out. I'd like to thank Drew Holt-Kentwell, the Associate Manager of Global Esports for Razer. We couldn't appreciate your support of Clarity and your constant communication more. And lastly, I'd like to thank you guys for having me on the show today. I've been very impressed with what ESGN's been able to put out lately, and I can't wait to see what you guys have in store.
All right, thank you so much, Brandon, for taking a few minutes to talk to us. Good luck in 2014 to your new Hearthstone team and the Razer sponsorship.
Thank you, sir.
That was Brandon Altman, the CEO of Clarity Gaming. Thank you again to him for the interview. Make sure to follow Clarity Gaming and what they're doing, twitter.com/clarity_gaming. Can't get enough Blizzard today? Well, recently the publisher released a video for their newest heroic addition to Heroes of the Storm. Check it out.
I was told this suit would be my prison. Suits me just fine. Been called a lot of things. A renegade, an outlaw. Guilty as charged. Makes life exciting. You never know who or what will be on your side. So when the Nexus King called it, there was only one thing to say. Hell, it's about time.
And about time it is indeed. I certainly can't wait to get my hands on the Heroes Storm Alpha. It's time for a break. When we return, find out which team is stepping down from the ESEA League. The Copenhagen Games are introducing a brand new format to their tournament. Find out what it is. And Group D of the Fragbite Masters has concluded. See who made the cut. The Daily News with Frodan returns right after this. Welcome back to the Daily News. We want to remind you that Fight Night Street Fighter has moved to a different airing time for this week. Next episode will be shown here at 8 p.m. Pacific on ESGNTV.com, so make sure to let people know what's happening. It's going to be salty. With ESEA Season 16 starting soon, some last-minute team changes have occurred. North American team Homeless had to step down from their Season 16 spot due to issues with finding a fifth player. After weeks of trying out new players, the roster formed around Freakazoid and Botox decided it was better not to compete with the fear of being unable to play the whole season with the same teammates. In response, the number 2 team in the ESEA poll took the spot, Mediocre Gamers. The roster of former CS 1.6 pros who already played for EG and the likes were happy about the opportunity. Going 5-0 in the playoffs with players like Irukanji and Icy, they have a lot of potential. Daily News will keep you up to date with the ESEA Season 16. After years of disaster, or last year's at Copenhagen Games, where Na'Vi pulled out of the tournament, this year's Copenhagen Games will feature a GSL-like group format. To prevent events like the three-way tie in 2013, Copenhagen Games decided to organize the initial stage as follows. Each group will consist of 4 teams, 1 high, 1 mid, 1 low, and 1 non-seeded team. With only 5 matches in total and a miniature double elimination bracket with a veto system, 2 top teams will progress to the playoffs, while the other 2 compete in a B tournament, which still offers prizes, although smaller. This surely will prevent things like a 3-way tie and gives the losers a chance to come out winning prizes. Maybe I should sign up then as well and earn some of them. Yesterday, the last group in the Fragmite Masters played their games with the favorites, Titan, almost being dropped from the tournament. First place in the group went to Dignitas, taking down Mouse Sports 16-9, as well as Titan 16-11. Titan, after struggling against Swedish Team Property in a close 16-13, won their consolidation match against Mouse Sports, thus securing their place in the Fragmite Masters. With the conclusion of Group D, the tournament will move to the next stage, which will take place on the 20th of March. The 2 top teams from each group will compete in the winner bracket, where the other teams fight it out in the lower bracket. The winners bracket already looks pretty scary with top-notch teams like NIP, Titan, and Clan Mystic. Make sure to check back with the Daily News for updates in twitch.tv/FragBite for all the action and the VODs. Rounding up the Counter-Strike news, let's take a look at the EMS1 Katowice. With over 2 months of qualifiers and a prize pool around $250,000, the ESL Major Series 1 will be the event to kick off the competitive Counter-Strike scene in 2014. Hundreds of pros and soon-to-be pros went through the qualifiers. However, only 6 made it through. The teams that made it gave it their best shot and in the end were rewarded with an entry into the EMS1. These teams have more than earned it. Polish team Virtus Pro, French Clan Mystic, Reason Gaming from Denmark, the Ukrainian Na'Vi, as well as the German Mouse Sports and the Danish 3D Max. These 6 rosters will be joined by Complexity and I by Power. They boast impressive online performances and have players to look out for. The remaining 8 teams were invited from the previous DreamHack event and earned their spot by simply being the best of the best. With all this said, we can expect a load of frags and overall amazing matches, beginning with Titan, who recently took 2nd place at the ESEA Season 15 LAN, facing off against Mouse Sports, the German team that just would not surrender and show incredible improvement throughout the qualifiers. Definitely make sure to catch all the action at Katowice. ESGN will be there to get first-hand impressions for all of you. As always, we like to end our day here with a little bit of fun. In today's Community Spotlight, we are showing you what happens when Ursa meets Doom in a Street Fighter environment.
Let's get started! Fight!
like Roshan isn't the only one that can't keep up with Doom. That's all the news we have for today. Before we finish, let's look at the 5-day forecast. Starting tomorrow, we have day 1 of the EMS1 we just talked about, beginning at 1 p.m. Central, featuring teams like Mousesports and Titan. Check it out at twitch.tv/ESLTV_CS. But then on Friday, we also have other events going on, like the IEM World Championship with IG facing off against Fnatic. Watch it all go down at twitch.tv/ESLTV_LOL. On Saturday, we have Dota 2 action with the Star Ladder Star Series Season 9 with Na'Vi, Fnatic, and Rox. It all goes down at 7:30 p.m. Central at starladder.tv. On Sunday, we have the grand finals of the IEM event for all games like Hearthstone, League of Legends, StarCraft, and more. Join the action at 1 p.m. Central at all of ESL stuff, IntelExtremeMasters.com. Finally, on Monday, we have the Aces Dream League Season 1 continuing with teams like Sigma, Virtus Pro, or Team Empire. Watch it all with the Good Studio at 6:30 p.m. that is, twitch.tv/DreamLeague. That's all we have for you today. If you have any news you want to share, as always, send us an email, news@ESGNTV.com. From Dan, Joe, and the rest of the crew here at Studio What, have a good evening. Fight Night is coming up next.